Maybe the Earth is flat after all. You know, chat? Maybe the Earth is flat. That is kind of facts, though.
What do you think the shape of the Earth is?
I don't think. I know for a fact it's a globe.
The Earth is flat.
Shelly thinks the Earth is flat. Everybody believes Shelly and Wendell.
And then one of those pieces just wasn't fitting.
I'm always open to having a discussion with someone who is holding a wrong belief like this.
Are you willing to change your mind on this?
I'm not. The evidence is so much.
Nobody wants to be a flat earther, but if you showed me incontrovertible evidence.
Fly in a plane. Off rip, 1 minute in. Go in a plane, take a flight anywhere. You'll see the curvature of the Earth. Video done. Just kidding.
Who wants the ridicule?
Where are you hoping to get from the discussion with the other side?
I'd like to tear them to pieces.
What is this, a fucking boxing match? You're sitting in a circle talking about whether or not the Earth is fucking flat.
I'm Jim Underdown, Executive Director of the Center for Inquiry West in Los Angeles and the chair of the CFI Investigations Group.
Okay, this is what's going to be funny. They're all going to have qualifications, and then the flat earthers are going to be like, yeah, my name's Wendell, and I think the Earth's flat.
I'm Spencer Marks, one of the senior members of the CFI Investigations Group, Science Advocate.
I am Ali Nayeri. I'm a theoretical physicist, and I'm with the University of Irvine.
I am Wendell Walton. I am a Chief Learning Officer for a young startup.
I'm Shelley Lewis.
Wait. Chief officer for a startup?
And jumped out of airplanes.
Oh, that's why she said that. I jump out of airplanes, so I've seen the curvature of the Earth, but I'm going to deny it.
I'm a truth seeker.
I get my flat earthers on the left and my globe earthers on the right. Only step forward if this is true for you. I believe the Earth was created by a higher power.
Well, I've been a Christian for 30 years, so
Oh, God.
the Bible is a flat earth book.
There's
For example,
Christian
Isaiah, when it
scientists
talks
that
about
say the
how
Earth isn't flat. You saying you believe in the Bible doesn't mean the Earth's flat. The majority of Christians know the Earth's round and believe that the Earth's round.
Earth is like a clay wax seal that's stamped with upturned edges. That's just not some fancy story. That's a simile. It is like.
Right? Absolutely. And in Isaiah talks about too, and I'm a Christian, he who sits upon the circle of the earth. There's a difference between a circle and a ball.
Yeah, that's crazy how the Bible's been translated fucking 600 times and everybody's fucking, not 600 times. It's been translated a lot of times and there's so many different versions of the Bible. So, you know how sphere and circle are very close? You know, maybe it was sphere and then somebody translated wrong, it was circle. It's probably what happened. They're essentially almost the same thing.
There's over 200 scriptures in the Bible that point to a flat earth.
So this notion that you need God or some higher power to create the earth or the universe is very old and was initially posited by people of a pre-scientific age. Since then, we have learned quite a bit about the universe coming into existence, when that happened. Modern humans don't get their cosmology, they don't get their physics, they don't get their knowledge of the universe from the Bible or any ancient text.
It's sort of like the God of the gaps. Once, people used to believe that lightning was God's wrath and throwing these lightning bolts, but once we understood it was a natural process, we had to attribute that to the real science. And the other thing, to the point about the Bible specifically for me, is why is that one particular text the correct one? You choose to believe that, and that's fine, but there's so many other writings and so many other books, so why weren't they correct?
Well, what you'll find in a lot of these ancient religions is they're all flat.
People tell me to react to this video and fucking Andrew Parnell _3. I could just watch it on YouTube. Okay, then go fucking watch it on YouTube.
All their cosmology goes back to being a flat earth with an enclosed system. So it's not just the Bible that teaches this. It's many different religious books.
Those are religious books. Those are not books of science. And it is wrong to infer or deduct scientific readings out of those books.
My name is Wendell. I am a logical, biblically based and scientific flat earther. I didn't start out, and no one starts out as a flat earther, but I had a lot of questions. So I actually got to the point where I had to go out and put my own eyeballs on it. So we went out to an observation at Salton Sea, and things just didn't add up down there. So we've gone back.
Oh my god. Your mom thinks the Earth's flat? Oh, fuck. That sucks.
Important role in confirming my view of this topic.
Oh, there we go. Yep.
We have the advantage of information today.
Flat
that's
Earth
outside
Facebook
of,
page.
Channels 2, 4, and 7, and the few networks that are corporately owned. It's pretty easy to say YouTube isn't research, but when you spend enough time, you're picking up quite a bit. And with the discussion groups,
YouTube isn't research, I can say that. As a YouTuber, if anyone would ever cite any of my, like even this video, you don't use YouTube for research in any scenario. High school, college, doctoral research, scientific research, you don't use fucking YouTube.
We've gone against opposition. We've opposed ourselves. Surprisingly enough, Flat Earth is its own worst enemy. So it's not that easy for us to come to consensus.
Yeah,
It's orchestrated.
no. What I think is funny is because flat earthers does not mean that they all agree on a specific thing. There's some people that think the Earth is like a disc with an ice wall. Some just think it's fucking flat and that's it. Some think it's like more of a dome shape. Like they all have different beliefs on what the Earth's shape is, but they're all flat earthers.
You know, my grandfather used to tell me growing up, never believe anything you read in the newspaper, right?
Yeah, every old fucking person says that. Every old fucking person says that. Every old fucking person will tell you, don't believe what they tell you.
Now, with the age of the internet, it's like, you know, how much of this misinformation
All right,
are you
Wendell.
getting there? And when you have like eyewitnesses taking video of something, you do have to take everything with a grain of salt. That's why, because of my my multimedia background, I knew that all that stuff could be faked. You know, take it into Photoshop, take it into After Effects.
You think every single picture of the Earth has been photoshopped?
Okay, this is at the core of the issue of why there are so many flat earth believers out there right now. The problem is the information from someone who decides to start a website or produce a YouTube video is not reliable. When I have a toothache, I go to a dentist. When my car breaks down, I go to a mechanic. When you have questions about
Why is he
cosmology,
making... He's fucking right. Anyone can make a YouTube video. Any one of us could post some dumbass bullshit. You know kangaroos are actually aliens, right? They came from planet Neptune. They're normally meant for the cold. That's a fact. Cite it. Joe Barlozzi.
you should go to an astrophysicist, you should go to a physicist, you should go to people, not some 6-minute YouTube video. There is a percentage of people that if they saw a YouTube video that was not within their scientific chops to refute on the face of it, would believe anything out there.
One of the things I will say is NASA.gov has their own documents out there that we get to vet, which is through the Freedom of Information Act. And would you agree that NASA documents, if they're on display, that we should be able to go and research inside there?
NASA is not proving that the Earth is flat.
Well, they say it in 14 of the documents.
You should read what NASA says, and you should listen to what
I
NASA
would
says.
love to see your NASA evidence that the Earth is
It's
flat.
only their contradictory issues.
Okay.
What I will say is it's kind of pointless to argue with people that have, like, completely different views than you. You can talk about it, but something that actually Neil deGrasse Tyson said, and I don't even think he was the first person to say it, if you ever argue with somebody for a long period of time and nothing has been reached, just walk away. In actuality, how you should actually change somebody's opinion, you're supposed to get them to arrive at your point themselves. Because if you tell someone that disagrees with you what you believe, they're not going to agree with you. But if you get them to arrive at that opinion themselves, then they will agree with you.
We're all familiar with the Earthrise photo, right? The Earth is rising over the moon. We're all familiar with it. That's a NASA. You can go out to the NASA site. You can download the original, right?
I already know what you're going to ask.
So you bring up the luminance on it, and you can see where it's cut out and pasted there.
They're showing us doctored images that are clearly doctored.
Oh my god, dude, this is like that bullshit. Even if you think the moon landing, dude, because this is what's fucked. They use this as some way of like citing that the Earth is flat. Even if you think that the moon landing was faked, which I don't think it was. I believe that the moon landing was fucking real. Even if you think it was faked, that shit was so fucking long ago. We have 100% gone to the moon by now. We have 100% taken a picture of the Earth. Even if you think that fucking 1960s type bullshit photo was fake, it's not anymore.
The blue marble is a very famous image from 1972. When you talk to the artist from NASA, his name is Robert Simmons, he talks about exactly how it was created from data, and it's not a photograph whatsoever.
He's a fucking idiot. He's so not him, the other dude that was fucking talking in the red shirt. If you go to the International Space Station, where it is, it's actually very close to Earth. It's actually not out of Earth's gravity. It's technically falling, if you didn't know this. The International Space Station is falling at all times. They have gravity. They experience gravity. But they're falling, but they're moving directionally faster than... They're moving left or right. I think it's left. I don't fucking know. They're moving east or west, whatever fucking direction they're going. Faster than they're moving down. So they never actually fall downwards. They just keep wrapping around the Earth. But that's so close to the Earth that they only can see parts of the Earth at the same time. I mean, they can see a lot of the Earth, but realistically, they have to map it all together.
And the phone cleverly stitches that
just
together.
saying how it's
Hold on.
presented. It's
Hold on.
presented as a real
So when
photograph.
NASA takes real photos and they either clean them up for color or they stitch them together so it's one large image, it doesn't mean they're CGI.
You're talking about composites.
Fucking
I'm
damn.
what you call a globe denier. You could even get me into a virtual construct if I can't find the borders myself.
What shape would you say you think the Earth is?
It appears to me to be a stationary plane as opposed to the vastness of infinity
Oh my god.
of space. I would find it to be an ice plane where we have
Just straight up flat. The Earth is just fucking flat. Like no curvature whatsoever. Nothing. What the fuck? How? And then they say this is just like some galaxy that's just there, and then the moon and the fucking sun just circle in a dome. It's
have a
so
localized
fucking
sun,
dumb.
and our environment thrives there. This is a brilliant opportunity to speak. We've been suppressed, censored
Oh
by
my God.
mainstream media. Alternative media is just a thing of beauty for me.
I view the other side as uneducated.
They're all gonna walk
I'm
out.
running.
They think we are
I'm
uneducated.
running for this.
Oh, why
Well,
would the
they
scientists not
certainly
walk
think
up?
They're educated.
And they're following quite a bit of the university system, what we call scientism.
Right, scientists.
Oh yeah,
Obviously
yeah,
is
right scientism. Yep, right scientism. Yep, exactly. Well accredited. Wendell believes in it.
We're using actual measurements that are calculated not by our guidelines, but the guidelines of science as we know it. I can only hope they're uneducated as opposed to disingenuous.
Well, that's the other thing too, because we know that it was on a large scale, the government has been disingenuous, and they're pushing a narrative, right? So it's hard for us. I mean, I'm sure that you've met people too. It's like, look, are you haven't looked into it yet, or are you a shill? Are you part of a disinformation campaign?
I don't think you guys are uneducated. I think you're wrongly educated.
I think the problem with what I've seen in the flat earth crowd is that it's not that they're undereducated, but they, instead of looking at evidence and letting the evidence guide to where the ultimate conclusion is, they start with a conclusion.
He left
they
the
cast
stream?
away
Okay.
all the bits of evidence that actually is contrary to their beliefs. And
But-
certainly Ali is
and-
supposed to
and
get the best
he-
education of
yeah,
all of us.
Exactly, and he paid for it too. But more and more professionals are coming on board. They're starting to question their reality. So the thing of it is once you start to really take a hard look at the evidence, and you are unafraid of just standing for the truth wherever that may lead you, then people end up becoming flat earthers.
What are you hoping to get from the discussion today?
I'm hoping to be able to tell our side of the story from the inside out. So many times,
Everyone knows what flat earthers believe. No one's suppressing you. The reason, it's not the media is suppressing you. Everyone is suppressing you because you're a fucking idiot. The earth is not flat.
I've changed my mind at some
Landon, think of this up.
about this topic.
so when I was 12 years old, I went to space camp and I met Alan B. Shepard.
Oh, nice.
Yep, and I wanted to be an astronaut and I wanted to be the first woman to walk the moon. So
Oh, how'd that work? How'd that work? Now you're a flat earther.
I'm a glober. I went into this completely wanting it to be true. And my husband told me, you know, he saw this thing about the fake moon landing. And I was like, you're absolutely crazy. There's no way that the moon landings are fake. And then in 2010, my husband was killed. And so I never really developed that until around 2014 when Flat Earth kind of came back up. When
I think flat Earth resurfaced because that's when people politically, realistically, that's when politics took a huge turn. If you look at just any political voting, I always like using like the Senate as like an example. Whenever the Senate used to vote on things, say it was like a conservative viewpoint or a liberal viewpoint or something, it would be red, blue on both sides, yes and no, when they would vote on it, and then there would be a mixture of red and blue in between, of people switching sides, voting on the topics differently. Now, ever since around then, if you look at Senate votings on certain topics, if they're voting yes or no, it'll be red, blue, maybe one blue, one red on the opposite side. People are more far apart politically than they've ever been, and I think that causes skepticism in people's minds, and they no longer want to be educated on the topic, so they believe in flat Earth.
And then I started really critically analyzing that. And I would say, you know, just looking at that evidence, if they can lie about the moon landings, they can certainly lie about pictures and satellites and other things. And so I started going down that rabbit hole of studying. So that was my influence from
How
my
many
husband.
lies does it take to make a liar, right?
And being ridiculed for being inquisitive is pretty tough on us.
You're not being ridiculed for being you're not being ridiculed for being like fucking like sus about all this shit. You're not being ridiculed for that. You're being ridiculed because you have no evidence to back your shit.
NASA is solely designed to change my mind. It is, from its inception, from its discovery, has been a television program.
They literally did that shit. Who's that fucking billionaire that just flew into space? They're starting that commercial travel shit where you can pay to go into space now. And you can see the curvature of the Earth.
Show me a globe spinning with clouds and a moon. Show me home, and I think I could shut up.
We have. I think, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if half of the flat earthers just subconsciously want a free trip to, like, fucking Richard Branson's fucking trip to the moon or whatever. Not to the moon, to the fucking atmosphere. Imagine if they were right. Dude, they're not right. It's not even like imagine if they were right. It's like they can't be right. This is not a theory. It's like a fucking fact.
The timing of your conversions is interesting to me. 20 years ago,
Italy, think of it.
the flat earth world was tiny and insignificant. Enter the advent of the internet, YouTube, online discussion groups, all these new available places where you could find information.
I like that hat.
about everything.
I know
This
it's
is
old-fashioned.
true
I almost
that-
bought one of those hats.
The evidence as you looked were not robust evidence. And the sources you used, they were not reliable sources again. But my problem is that, and I like you guys that you are very skeptical, but at the same time, you are not skeptical about your belief system.
You
That
keep
should
going
have come
back.
first.
You think that that's my foundation for why I believe the earth is flat. And I'm telling you, you're wrong. I have evidence that proves it's flat.
What? Tell it!
What type
proves
of
it's
evidence?
not
you
a
know?
ball.
What type of
Curvature, I
evidence?
We're being misled. We're being deliberately
Dude, we're halfway through the video. I have evidence. What evidence? We're being misled. Okay, what's the evidence that you're being misled? We're being misled. Fuck!
misled by mainstream
Now,
media.
what's your
Oh my
evidence?
god. Oh my god. Whenever anyone says the word mainstream media, I tune out.
We see too far. We should not be able to see. I live in Dana Point.
Okay,
I can see San Clemente Island, which is 60 miles away.
so what?
What do you mean? So what?
So what? You're a fucking idiot. The earth is huge. No shit, you can see it.
I'm
It's
on the
1,100
beach. I'm
feet
on
tall.
the beach.
It is
What do you mean by
tall.
so what?
I'm on the
But-
beach.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you see a ship which is going?
We're
Oh
not
yeah,
talking
let's talk
that.
about the ship that goes
Yes,
over the curvature
okay.
of the earth. I love
So-
that.
None of these fucks. None of these three fucks. Dan, Shelley, or Wendell. Wendell's fucking zoned out looking this way. He looks like he's looking past her shoulder. Anyways, none of these fucks know physics. None of them. None of them. If you fucking showed them this, they would be like, that's science. That's government bullshit.
It's going over the curvature of the Earth, correct?
Yes.
But then I bring my P900 up, and guess what? I can zoom it back in.
Not
So
all
is
of
it
it.
going over the curvature?
Wow! Wow!
Absolutely.
Oh, not all the
No, you
time?
can't.
Not all the time?
No, you don't see all the ship. The bottom part of the ship
Yes.
is hidden by the
At that
curvature.
distance, you shouldn't see the top
At
of it
all.
either.
If the Earth were
Prove
truly
it with physics! Dan probably, the last math Dan took was fucking Algebra 2 38 fucking years ago.
there would be really hardly any limit. You'd be able to stand at the top of the Empire State Building and look towards Chicago, a mere 1,000 miles away, and see the lights of Chicago at night.
No,
Why wouldn't
no, because you have an atmospheric disturbance.
Very thick.
He brings up a point. Yo, if the whole Earth is flat, why can't you see some shit really far away? The atmospheric disturbance. It's thick. It's thick.
I've been into
It's
astronomy
very
since I
thick.
was 10.
It's faulty logic. It's completely faulty logic.
Let's reset, and then I have a more interesting.
Okay.
Wendell didn't say shit. Wendell's like, just fucking staring.
The Earth is undoubtedly a globe and not flat. This is well supported by gobs of science.
Scientific consensus is possible.
Scientific consensus is
What is the,
You have to think about what that means. She's repeating it. Scientific consensus. What does the word consensus mean? I'm just gonna stand here.
question?
I don't understand the question.
Look at them! Why are they all confused?
Possible. Anything is possible. I mean, anything is possible. I've got a tremendous issue with consensus and peer review.
I honestly think out of all three, Dan is the smartest. Out of all three flat earthers, Wendell and Shelley, gone. Like literally, I can't. Just they bring up nothing. He's actually saying shit. He's the only person that actually brought up a piece of evidence, which was the fucking picture.
As scientists, flat earthers,
Stop touching your mic.
truthers,
He's going.
punks, we're at an incredible disadvantage.
Let's talk about scientific consensus for a second. You're never going to get 100% of anyone. There is scientific consensus on a global Earth. There's scientific consensus on evolution. A lot of big
They
issues.
use the word theory
Do you know what a theory in science is? An extremely
and a fact
Let
is
me-
a fact.
Don't mistake this word theory.
You are,
In
not me.
science. It's not conjecture. It's not.
It's an explanation.
No, it's not. No, it's not. See, this is what I fucking did. I did the same shit with that fuck that told me the Earth was hollow on TikTok. A scientific theory, you can't say, like, say if I just randomly think, oh, the sky isn't actually blue. It's brown. That's my scientific theory. It's not a scientific theory. For something to be a scientific theory, it has to go through a lot of peer review type shit. In the fuck, you can read the fucking definition. It has to be like experimented upon. It has to be literally like agreed upon. It's not a law because it can't be concretely proven 100% all the fucking time. But it's a theory because it's almost like sure. You're almost sure of that. Now, his thing, the flat Earth theory, is a hypothesis. It's not a theory.
In science, the word theory is the highest level that you can give something because it's so well supported.
What about a fact?
That is a fact. It's
Not a fact you would call it a
You know
fact.
why? Do you know why? Because in science, there's always room for improvement.
It's only called laws. Certain things are called laws, like the fucking law of gravity and shit like that. Law of thermodynamics. That stuff. Because that's like there's no room there. Like, that's 100% proven. It's like 99.999% sure that is fucking right.
There's always room to find better, to tweak and find better information.
So that is how science works.
It gets better refined over time. As
He
opposed
didn't
to
know this.
flat Earth
Like,
theory, which
I know
never
this
gets
shit. I'm
refined.
19. You're like 45, bro. Shelly's in the back trying to figure out what the fucking word consensus means. Wendell's gone, fucking staring into the abyss. And Dan's just now figuring out what the fuck scientific theory is. You learned that your freshman fucking year. You actually learned that in like 6th grade.
In the history of science, we had many occasions that the ideas it was not welcomed by the society. Einstein was one of them.
Galileo.
Galileo was one of them. But if your theory is an authentic one, and it can go through this hardship of scientific method, eventually will win.
How would gravity work if the Earth is flat? They say everything finds its place or some shit. They say gravity works in the fact that it all just falls. towards that. That's what they'll say.
Science has been trying so hard to divorce itself from the idea of a creator when God's intent was to create science to lead you to him. You know, sometimes things seem supernatural that we are able to explain later through, you know, science. Okay, I understand. But there are other things as well that are supernatural.
This is my big issue with science, scientific approach and non-scientific approach. You are absolutely right. In science, we are after the truth. And we are hoping by each day we're getting closer and closer to the truth. We never get there. Never.
Well, I know that's true for you. And
No, that's a science. That's you guys. You think you do have the truth. Now let's look at the evidences. As you were mentioning, science doesn't work that way.
That's not true.
that's not what
That
we-
is not true.
Well, you are saying
No.
you are referring to Jesus, who many billions of people do not believe, including myself.
And many more billions do.
So what?
So who's right?
Of course, I can.
So
When you say that,
No, now they're pairing religion and science, and it's he's saying, so who's right? And he's using the faith argument that faith is subjective, which he is right about that. But he's comparing the fact that faith is subjective to science being subjective, and science is not subjective. Science is objective. Faith is subjective. They're two different things.
does science
I
make
don't know.
assumptions? Does science
No,
make
let me-
assumptions?
Yeah, we
course.
sure.
Okay.
We do
course.
make assumptions
But-
based on things that are well supported and
Bias.
proven and reproven.
Bias.
We don't have
Show
to.
me how you isolate gravity. If gravity
We
is
don't
an
have to-
assumption,
She is a fucking idiot. Oh my god, I literally can't take it anymore. I literally can't take it anymore. Oh my god, I can't talk to people like that. I literally can't. I literally can't. Oh, we have evidence. What's the evidence? You're just saying this. Oh, well, what's your evidence? Well, you have no evidence. Yes, we do. No, you don't. I can't trust the media. I can't trust the government. Okay, well then what's your evidence that the earth is flat? Oh, we have none.
you show me in the scientific method how you isolate gravity.
Place to stop. Let's cool off
Yeah, sure.
and reset.
Why, Wendell, why are you saying yeah? You said maybe 3 words in that entire fucking speech.
Joe, if I put a ball on flat ground, it doesn't roll. Earth flat confirmed.
God. Oh, no! See, the sad thing is they'll actually do that shit. They'll actually say that type of stuff. And to fucking, I know you're joking, Lord Banana 9000. But like, bro, for the flat earthers that fucking think that that's like a great way to disprove the earth being fucking round, just because you put a ball on the ground and it doesn't roll, that's just because earth is fucking massive and the angle of it is very minute.
I kind of feel like I want to develop some of this stuff a little bit more. It feels high level, but I feel like there's so much that I haven't really even touched base on.
Well, I mean,
You haven't said
certainly
shit.
didn't think that anybody was on either side was going to flip.
Well, there's still time.
There's still time. I have hope for you, Wendy.
Good old Wendell.
And Shelley. I don't know about Dan. I have hope for you too. But, you know, it's certainly, I'm glad it's a civil discussion, certainly.
Oh, yeah.
Why would NASA not be trustworthy? Realistically, the government gives NASA like no fucking money, and NASA is like bitching at the government to give them more money to actually like do more research. So why? So like, if the government loved NASA, that NASA was disproving and like hiding everything from the fucking U.S., the government would give NASA more money.
Yeah, the idea that NASA and the government is lying to us about the shape of the earth is the height of conspiracy theories. In order for this to be true, the literally hundreds of thousands of people who at some point over the last 50 or 60 years would had to be somewhat complicit in this, and nobody spills the beans at all, is on the face of it completely unbelievable.
The private does not know what the general is doing. There's compartmentalization happening.
It's no evidence. She says the same thing every time. Well, the ground worker doesn't know what the boss is doing, but the boss knows what the ground worker's doing. Okay, so how does that prove anything? How does that disprove anything that we just said?
It wouldn't be that far-fetched. Has the government ever lied to us is really the question.
It's literally, dude, 23 minutes and the only thing she keeps fucking repeating every fucking time, has the government lied to us? The government lies to us. Oh, what's the evidence? I have so much evidence. What's your evidence? What's your evidence? The government lies to us. The ground worker doesn't know what the boss is doing. Okay, you're a fucking idiot.
Absolutely, they're not lying about anything. They're completely transparent. Everything is true.
What are they lying about? Say what they're lying about, Shelly. Fucking say it.
You're talking about an agency of the government,
NASA.gov.
but
NASA.gov. That's why the Earth is flat. It's .gov because of the last 3 letters on the website.
you are dealing with smart people. Believe me, you are
I
dealing
don't
with
deny-
smart people.
I don't deny that.
So it is very hard to do that. Once or twice, maybe, not for the all time.
Raise your hand if you think we went to the moon.
What is the proof?
Ever? They don't think we went to the moon ever?
And we have distributed those freely to PhD scientists around the world. And not one of those geologists have said, what is this?
Been
This is
proven to
some-
be fake.
And
They've proven to be fake. All of them.
collected on the ice in Antarctica and
Yeah,
in the Arctic as
absolutely.
well. Those are collected. You don't have to go to the moon to get moon rocks. As a matter of fact, all U.S. Air Force photography prior to 1958 shows a flat Earth. Only NASA shows
That's
a
not
sphere.
true.
That's
That is absolutely not
true,
true.
Jim. I wouldn't lie to you.
And the other thing
Yo, trust me, bro. That's what it is. What's the evidence? Trust me.
NASA's lying to you, my friend.
The other bit of proof
Not myself.
is we have a laser retroreflector on the moon.
Yeah.
that we're using
So,
now.
We still use to this day.
It's sitting there.
You can find to the inch how far away the moon
No
is.
pictures of home.
That only is there. By the way,
we have shit on the moon. We have stuff on the moon. There's no pictures of the moon, though. No, but there's no pictures on the moon. Oh, but we put stuff on the moon. No, but there's no pictures of the moon, though. So, like, you know, I can't really trust that.
Why would all these honest, hardworking people perpetuate this massive fraud? Why would they do this?
What's the benefit of doing
Okay,
that?
the benefit of it, they make $52 million a day. Follow the money.
No, the little
Follow-
guy.
Oh, my God. Follow the
When you
money.
say all, okay?
It's just following the money.
start out that way. And NASA was not founded to prove. that
Where's
the Earth
Wendell?
was a
Where's
globe.
Wendell? Well, Wendell hasn't spoken the entire time.
Somebody has to be a voice for reason, and somebody has to be a voice for truth.
Yeah, why is no one saying, what if it's a cube, like in Minecraft, where you would, like, step over a certain point and then you just 90-degree angle go a different way?
I can put myself in the mindset of the other side.
I used to be a ball earther. Everything you
A ball earther. Her one evidence to why we should believe her is she wanted to be an astronaut. Okay. So did everyone and their fucking mom wanted to be an astronaut when they were a fucking child.
So
Me,
I
on the other
complete-
hand, I wanted to be a Coca-Cola soda truck driver. Little fun fact. I wanted to be a soda truck driver. That was my dream job as a child. Set the bar low so you can go high. That's what I'm talking about. Yep.
In the modern world, unless you live in a cave somewhere, you have to believe in science implicitly. I met a flat earther, a young woman who said, I don't trust anything that science does. And that's a problem because human beings can't replicate the whole body of science every single generation. At some point, you have to trust what's already been discovered and proven and move on to the next thing. Otherwise, we're not going to advance at all. I mean, when you turn that key ignition in your car, you expect the car to start out
And not blow up.
and not blow up because science put you in that position.
I trust Henry Ford. Henry Ford was a billionaire. All right? I trust the billionaires. All right? Yeah, they're more trustworthy.
We're not drawing conclusions. We understand the mechanisms that made that car work. There is no theories and no disputed conclusions involved there. It's not a good analogy. Can I admit a great compromise that we have to experience being against the grain people? Is we have to literally sit in a group and decide whether or not we can afford to have an opinion And that's tough.
What is he saying? It's like, dude, I'm watching this, and I understand what he's saying, but he's spewing words that have, no fucking meaning.
See, what I get from you guys is that seeing is believing. So how come you believe in God or Jesus? You haven't seen neither of them, right?
I've seen evidence, though.
Well,
You've seen more evidence for God than you have of the earth being flat.
exactly. So we are looking for evidence. There are many, many other evidences for Earth not flat. My point is that these experiments clearly show that the Earth is globe. And you don't need to go outside
It's
the
a
globe to see it's
conclusion.
globe.
It's a
You told me you
theoretical-
want the evidence. If you're
That's
saying
not-
that you look only to see something, then I dispute your belief system in God and Jesus or Jehovah or Buddha or Zarathustra or anyone.
You keep going back to religion as being
Because
our
it's coming
conclusion.
from there.
No,
You think you do have the
not
I
truth.
have
You do.
evidence.
She just-
I have evidence.
You
for
pointed-
what
You've
I
said
know.
that 6 fucking times! Say your evidence, please. I have evidence. What is it?
You
I
quoted
agree.
Bible.
Of
That's
course
the
I did,
reason.
but that is not the only reason I know what the shape of the earth is, and you keep,
Well-
that's fallacy.
It's not
That's fallacy.
I-
That's fallacy. Clap it up for the grammar. That's fallacy.
It is a fallacy.
You,
Science, not to put it down, but when you're talking about rocket science, this is very difficult for the majority of people to understand, and it's designed that way.
She is speaking. This is exactly what she's doing. And it's why I'm getting so mad. And it's because I know she's doing this. It's like when you have to do a school assignment, or it's when you're doing an assignment for homework that you didn't like. It's like when you have to write about something about a book that you barely read, and you just keep repeating yourself. You keep lengthening your sentences to make it seem like you know what you're talking about. This is my problem. I don't have the evidence. Well, there's so much things to be skeptical about, and she's just like lengthening her sentences to make it seem like she knows what she's doing.
And so, in a lot of ways, hiding behind rocket science is similar to religion. Catholic Church.
No, hiding behind rocket science is not at all the same as. What are you talking about?
Only we can interpret the Bible. You have to listen to what we say. So in a lot of ways, we're getting that same notion from science that says only we
the
can.
reason you the reason you can't interpret a scientific fact is because it's a scientific fact. The reason you can interpret philosophy and religion, what I fucking major in college, is because it's subjective. And it's a thought that is out there. And then you put a counter thought or your own version of the thought in return. To dumb it down for fucking Shelley, if I say 2 + 2 is 4, you can't say, well, I think it's 5. I think it's 5. You can't! Because it's not fucking 5!
But then when we actually do go and test some of their equations and they don't work.
What
That's
equations
a
have
question
fucking
for us to go
Shelley
and test.
tested? What equation has Shelley tested? Show me your fucking science work. Show me your notes, please.
I would say, one great thing about science is its predictability. Let's for a short moment, assume that your model, this flat Earth model, is correct. I don't know, what does it buy for us? What does it predict for us? So my question for you guys would be, next time, bring me something from your theory, your model, that you can predict something which the globe Earth model cannot predict. Then I would change my mind.
I would just say that don't believe
Wendell speaks after 25 minutes, chat. Let's hear what his wise words are.
anything that I've said. You got to do your own research. And I think what you'll find is that you'll see that a puzzle piece doesn't fit. And the only way you're going to do that is if you put your own eyeballs on it.
I don't blame people for being skeptical. I'm skeptical about a lot of different things.
You essentially said nothing.
I applaud that. But you have to go beyond just not believing in something. Ask the hard questions. Ask what qualifies a YouTuber, a book author, anywhere else you're getting this information. What qualifies them to make wide-ranging comments about the shape of the earth? Look, anybody who can overturn Einstein or some major theory is going to be eventually written in the halls of science for the rest of their lives. But they have to come up with the goods. They have to show good science-based evidence that what they say is true, and they have to withstand the test of time and peer review and the rigors of the scientific method.
All right.
That was fucking insane. I'm glad we were capable of fucking reacting to that, sticking through that entire video. I hope you guys enjoyed that.